Hello, and welcome to listen to my second Halloween special. It's time for another original and remake review. What are some essential 80s horror films? I think a lot of people would mention John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982. I would too. How about what movies have the best practical effects? Many would answer The Thing, so would I. When someone asks, what are some remakes that are better than the original? In many cases, people mention The Thing very early on. Better than the original. Yeah, I really want to talk about that. Before, maybe I should review the original. Okay. Do people even know about The Thing from Another World? Do they know that the John Carpenter's classic is actually a remake? If they know, I bet most of them haven't seen it. It kinda sucks because I think The Thing from Another World is one of the best horror movies from the 50s. Probably my favorite, to be quite honest. All the Thing movies are closer or loosely based on a novel written by John W. Campbell Jr. called Who Goes There? I have the first and only Finnish DVD release that came out 3 years ago and has been out of print for some time now. The original thing is from Howard Hawks, whose other movies were the original Scarface from 1932 and Western classic Rio Bravo. The title logo is iconic and the theme song powerful and memorable. It kicks you right in. You're ready for some good old monster spookiness. The movie takes place in an Arctic area. We are very soon introduced to our main characters as a reporter visits the US Air Force crew that is spending time in an Arctic outpost. Apparently, a strange flying object was seen to crash land into the icy earth not too far from there. This is why the Air Force is there, requested by Dr. Garrington, so they set to investigate. The group finds something hidden under the ice. It's big and it's round. Yep, it's an UFO. They try to dig it up with explosives, but the whole ship explodes in the thin air. Whoops. Luckily, or maybe not so luckily, they also find something else under the ice, an alien that had escaped from the ship. They dig it up in the big ice cube and bring it back to their base. Well, you can probably guess that the thing escapes and causes panic. The doctor wants to study it, others to destroy it, but before it causes more harm. We have a confrontation with science, common sense slash raw power, and the alien. But what is the alien, the thing? Why is it here? What does it want? Is it bad, good, or neutral? I'm not going to spoil anymore. Just watch the movie if you haven't seen it. It's great. I love the way the movie is directed. It gets straight to the point, no bullshitting around. That's the style of Howard Hawks. There is a little love story going on, but it's kind of subtle and it didn't bother me. We see the monster enough, although I was slightly disappointed by its appearance, but that's only because I saw the remake first. Nothing else in the movie disappointed me. Characters that I genuinely liked. The main character, Captain Patrick Henry, played by Kenneth Tobey, was great. A true man. I also liked the reporter, and some side characters were funny. The dialogue was great, and from that you can notice how fast paced the movie is for its time. People talk the necessary very quickly and there's no long pauses. Humor really worked in many times, which surprised me because I've seen many old movies where the humor just doesn't work anymore. Here it did. Is the movie scary? Well, there was actually one scene that made me jump, and the times when the monster appeared were well executed, and I can see that it was probably really scary back in the day. I think there's still creepiness still left in the movie. It's really cool when a movie over 60 years old doesn't have unintentionally funny scenes. It has still kept its cool and doesn't have anything too silly in it. 5 out of 5 from me. Alright, the more famous remake. Interesting thing is that this John Carpenter film was a critical and commercial failure upon its release. It had to compete with E.T., so I kinda get it. E.T. was huge. People wanted to see more child-friendly Alien that year. So the thing was not the Carpenter movie people were talking about in the 80s. It slowly gained people's interest when they realized how wrong the critics were and how good the movie actually is. Well, maybe the critics weren't wrong in every single thing. I'll talk about that later. The original movie is very important to Carpenter, that's why he made this remake. There are few remakes I like, and this is one of them. It tries to stay loyal to the original, but throws in enough new stuff, and also tries to stay loyal to the book. People cared what they were doing, not just money crap. That's very important. The basic plot is pretty similar to the source. Guys from American Research Station in Alaska finds an abandoned Norwegian camp after an incident I will tell you in just a moment. Some really horrible shit had happened there. Dead bodies inside the camp and weird burned body with two faces outside the camp. Kinda spooky. There was also a big piece of ice that was either melted or cut open. Looks like something had been inside of it. The guy decided to take the burned body and some other stuff like VCR and videotapes to the research station for further research. The videotapes show that the Norwegian group found something weird under the ice. Turns out it is a giant flying saucer. Some nasty things starts to happen in the research station. The horror they're about to go through could have been easily avoided if they didn't let one Alaskan Malamute to stay in their station. In the beginning of the movie, it was chased by the Norwegian helicopter trying to kill it. As soon as this thing happens, you know why. This film is very good. I've seen it so many times. I love the atmosphere. The idea of this thing that can take any shape or form to hide is very threatening. You really don't know who you can trust. Anyone could be a thing. The music also helps, although it isn't very melodic and is very simple, but it works, boosting the ambience. The main character is R.J. McReady, played by Kurt Russell. Kurt is great as always, but I've always thought the characters are not the strongest part of this movie. I've never really felt them. They're just not that interesting to me. I do remember the characters, but when I'm comparing this movie to movies like Aliens that had great characters, this one falls flat on that part. The acting is good though. Lots of great actors in this movie. The true highlight of John Carpenter's The Thing are the special effects. They still hold up extremely well, especially the dog and this motherfucker. I still think some of them look disturbing and disgusting. Critics complained how disgusting and appalling the imagery was, and that tells something. All practical effects and a little bit of stop motion. Most of the effects were done by Rob Boden, and the dock effects were made by Stan Winston himself, the guy behind Jurassic Park and Terminator, etc. Some complained that the only thing the film had going for was the effects. I kinda disagree. My favorite scene is the dog scene. This scene was also pretty cool when he screams. Kind of feels like it's screaming to the stars, to its home. These fresh and original imaginative monster designs inspired so many horror movies in the future. The thing is like a virus. I was slightly disappointed by part of the ending. The final battle was very short and kinda anticlimactic. Originally, it was meant to feature a stop motion puppet, but it was scrapped sadly. The very end of the movie is excellent, though. It leaves you hanging and you can use your own imagination. I love it. Is the remake better than the original? I don't think so, but it's almost as good. I don't give half points, so I lean towards 4 out of 5. I can't really give it 5, slightly too many things to complain. Still a good movie. Hell of a good movie. Okay, and oh yeah, the Carpenter version got a prequel slash a soft remake in 2011, but I don't give a shit. Apparently, the idiot producers decided to replace all the impressive practical effects with mediocre CGI. Fuck that shit. Alright, stay tuned.